Hello, welcome to another live. It's Wednesday, AM in the UK, PM in Australia, and really early in America. Hope you've been well. Hope you've had a good week. So if you didn't listen to the podcast last week, I had Chad Nelson on, and he was really good. I can't remember what we spoke about. I was going to write a note, and I forgot all about it. But it was real emotional intelligence. So that's a good one to have a listen to if you want to. Also, this week I've got Lincoln Stoller coming on, which he's always good to have a chat with. Anyway, today I'm speaking to the fabulous Lisa Towers from Simply Anxious, and she'll be coming on in just one sec. So it's good to have her, and I will let you know she's not feeling the best, so we might not get a whole lot out of her this week, but that's okay. We'll see how we go and see if she can make it through with view request, go live. Yes, it must be early for you. Hi, One Blue Princess. Lovely to have you back. Hope you're doing well. Here's Lisa. Look at that fabulous lady in England.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm fine. I've just got COVID, so I'm not as, it's fatigue. You just feel, but I'm okay.
Good.
Just
and you might know some of these people coming in. They might be friends of yours.
Hello.
There's a few people coming in. Everybody's wanting to come in and see you, Lisa. You're the...
And you.
Yeah, and me. But here we go. So what was our topic today? I forget now.
I just think it's about, recovery because...
that's right, yes.
I've been there myself where we're so desperate to overcome anxiety and get our life back and start doing, the things that we want to do. And yet, I think, especially nowadays, we've become, thanks, Clarence, nowadays we've become, everything's immediate, isn't it? I grew up in the days where if you wanted to buy a new dress, you'd have to wait for the weekend to go to town on a Saturday, or if you wanted to book a holiday, you'd have to wait for the weekend to go to the shop to do it.
Yeah.
And so everything is immediate now. You just pick your phone up, you can get a dress, you can get a holiday. And I think we kind of feel that with recovery as well. I found a therapist. I want a session. I want to be recovered. I know I was like that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't work like that. I mean, a lot of us suffer from anxiety, not because it just happened. It's not like you catch a cold, or it's gradual, unless, of course, it's something traumatic that's happened that's triggered it. But it tends to be like a gradual thing. I know, like with myself, it was having no idea what mental health or emotional wellness was, and going through life thinking I was indestructible and going through things that were, I can see now, absolutely hugely challenging for myself and my emotional well-being and my nervous system, but not knowing.
Yeah.
And so it takes time and patience to undo all that and learn all that and to heal. Your nervous system takes time. And Michael Singer wrote a brilliant book called The Untethered Soul, and in it he explains how stuff, which is like emotional stuff or things that have happened that are inside you when you've suppressed emotional energy, if you like. You can think you're over something and it's like a splinter. The skin's grown over it and you think, oh, it's fine now. So, you think, oh, I'm fine. But then something will come along and hit it and you think, oh, God, that's exactly the same as emotional pain or suppressed
emotional trauma.
Yeah. So, and not even trauma, whatever the trauma is. So, for example, for me, it was one of the things was you're not good enough, Lisa. You're just not good enough. And I was working on that, feeling brilliant. And then I came on here at the start when I first started doing this, and I was on a live, and I got a message, a DM saying, I really enjoyed your live. However, have you thought about having Botox and putting a syringe? And that hit my splinter.
Yeah.
And it made me think, oh my God, why am I doing this? Oh, I'm getting old. You know, all the negative chatter came flooding back, and I felt awful. And so that, because I am recovered and still on my healing journey of other stuff, it made me think, wow, there's still, I'm not, you know, there's still stuff inside of me, because that affected me, that bothered me. So that's just an example of, it takes time, and it's okay to take time. You know, I think in today's world, it's really hard. One of the biggest obstacles about recovery, I believe, is finding the time to do the things that get you move you forward, move you closer to emotional and mental wellness. Because every day is a bombardment of nonsense, drama, expectation. You know, it's like where, like for me, it became a time of, no, this is about me now. This is me getting to a place where I absolutely love and enjoy my life and enjoy being me. And that's what I did.
But look, I can see if someone sent me a DM saying, I think you need Botox, I mean, I would be triggered. Hold on. The dog's trying to get something to chew on, which is going to make so much noise. Yeah, you know, like, and some people don't consider the other person, do they? They just think, oh, that's what I'm going to say. Did they own a cosmetic surgery? Was that what they were trying to do? Were they touting for business?
I'm sure it wasn't done in sort of malice. Yeah, maybe I do look, maybe I don't look as glamorous or whatever, but I'm me, and it just, it actually, it was like when I was recovering from anxiety, I stopped seeing anxious moments as, oh my God, I'm back at square one, as, wow, another opportunity for me to implement everything I've learned and move forward a little bit more and release some of that trapped emotion. So this was an opportunity for me to become more resilient and stand in my truth. This is me. I'm 56. Of course I haven't got a face like that. If I did, you know, but I haven't, and I'm okay with being me, because I spent so many years as not being okay as being me. I've had enough of that, you know. So,
and look, I actually heard,
but it did sting a bit. It did sting, I admit. It stung a bit, because I thought, how, as a sort of anxiety advocate page, become about beauty.
Well, I actually heard one of your lives probably last year, and you were talking about that, and then that's what gave me the confidence to go, look, I can go on here and talk, and I don't have to worry about how I look, because it's actually not about how I look, it's about the information I'm providing you with or talking about, and that's what I'm here for. I'm not here for a beauty competition. I'm not here for people to go, oh, hello, we think Dan looks great. We think
can I just pick that apart a little bit? If we peel back how people look, who invented what we should look like? I'll tell you who. The people who are going to make money out of you doubting how you look and going out and spending money on all the ridiculous things that aren't really going to make a difference, because it doesn't matter how you look. What matters is how you feel. And I'll tell you what, plastic surgery or anything, the brand new Dolce & Gabbana jacket will bring you maybe a little bit of happiness temporarily, but you'll soon forget about them, and it'll be on to the next thing. And that's what people love, because people make money from it.
And look, then it's an ongoing cycle of anxiety as well, because as you said, people start to self-doubt how they look, how they feel. They go and buy something that's too expensive. That makes them feel better for a while, but then they're worried about, how am I going to pay this debt back? especially younger people, I think, around 18 to 25. And I know I was in that same thing, you know, Calvin Klein jeans, Calvin Klein
And
t-shirt,
me,
all
yeah.
these different things. And as you get older, you think, actually, I don't need all this stuff to make me feel good because I feel good anyway. And, you know, if someone looks at this and goes, oh, I don't like those two old people on there, well, that's fine. We're old people talking about anxiety. Well, we're not old people, but we're...
And exactly, can I just say that age is, well, I'm not old, I'm 56. I'm not old, but when I was, say, 30, I thought 56 was old. But I'm starting to see that age is a privilege that a lot of people don't get the chance to experience. So
No.
I'm kind of grateful. I'm really grateful.
Well, look, I mean, as you say, people don't get that opportunity. My sister passed away at 42, you know, way too young, way too young. And, you know, sometimes when I'm having a bad day or I think something's going wrong, I think, God, my sister would love to be here to have this problem.
And I think that the keeping up with the Joneses and trying to look a certain way and, oh, I hope they like, you know, is my car enough or will they think my car's a pile of shit? God, it's so mentally draining and exhausting. How can you enjoy life when you're always feeling like you have to keep up with the Joneses when actually you don't? And I remember when I was in Ibiza, I went on a retreat and we were walking down this cliff and there was like a cave and this bloke came out and he looked like, yeah, okay, he looked like not what we look like. He looked like well lived,
yeah,
in nature. And basically, he had the calmest, most happy aura about him.
Yeah.
And he was American and he took himself away from, as he called it, the nonsense. And he was happy. And I thought, I want a bit of that.
Yeah.
And so I'm not living in a cave on the way down to the beach in Ibiza, but I am, you'll find me in a field with 3 whippets and you'll find me painting and you'll find me just loving it, loving life. And
enjoying life and not having
6 years ago, I was close to not loving life. You know, I didn't want life. And so I'm really, really grateful. And giving myself the time to heal and doing it properly, taking it seriously, was the best decision I ever made. And it's also worth the little bit of discomfort that you go through when you actually make that decision to do the things that will push you and lead you to recovery, rather than the pain I felt trying to juggle everything else that was going on in my life and fit my recovery in.
And you were right earlier because you said some people are looking for a quick fix. Yes, I'll go and see a therapist. But if you want to get really well, the best way to do it is to see a therapist over time and to do the things that they ask you to do. I mean, doing mindfulness and I guess journaling and the homework that they set for you. It might be, oh, I'll just finish it before I go to the next session. Well, that's great. But if you can have a bit of time set aside to actually work through it and think about it, and you can start and then come back to it before your next session. But then at least you're starting to change and adapt to the new way you want to be. But if we just go, okay, they're going to fix me, they're not going to fix you because it's about you working with them.
And one, you don't need fixing. And sometimes, like for me, it was a lifestyle change because the speed I was going through life, it just wasn't sustainable. You know, you just can't continue that and feel healthy, as in trying to outrun anxiety all the time, trying to paper over the cracks, trying to self-medicate it. And so things like mindfulness, I do mindfulness every day on my morning walk. And it's not like an effort because I just take note of my environment and I look at the sky and I look at the trees and I listen for the sounds. And it's just, you know, really, really something that I know is good for me and I enjoy doing it. So finding things that you enjoy as well, but knowing that they're good for you. So I'm not one of them that can go and lie on my bed and do a meditation. It just doesn't do it for me. Get me in a field, I'm leaning up against a tree, and it does. you know.
Well, look, I love watching your reels because, I mean, coming from England when I was young, I
Mine
love watching you
does.
walk through the fields and with the whippets running around because I have whippets. You know, it's just amazing. And you can see how, for you, it is so relaxing and makes you feel so good because just being out in the country, although you've just had really heavy heat wave, haven't you? 40 degrees.
That was awful. I really feel for people who live in that. I lived in Spain and it was, I don't know, it was just because it's humid. It's a worse kind of heat, I think, here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it is. Look, I mean, I was talking to my mum the other day and, you know, I don't think we've had above 40 for a couple of years, but we would have it like 43 for 2 or 3 days in a row. But we thought when I'd been to England and it had only been like 35, 36, that actually felt hotter because it feels closer over there. And it might be because the buildings are all closer. Yeah.
And the thing is, when you're on holiday, you know, you're by the sea, you've got the sea breeze, you're having your sparkling water and you're under shade when it's like everyday life. So what we did was, me and the Whippets, we were up really early and we went into the forest and got the exercise out the way actually before the heat kicked in, but it was still hard for them. And in the night, we were like, this sounds hilarious, but with 3 of us on my bed, and we had a fan that side and a fan that side. It was just...
Because not many people in England have air conditioning, do they?
No, because we don't need it.
Yeah.
We don't need it. We've got central heating because we need that.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I mean, here, yeah, definitely need air conditioning. It's too hot in the summer. And need heating. Like someone said to me the other day, really, is it -1 over there? And I said, yeah, it's Australia, but we still get cold. But they couldn't believe that it would be that cold here.
No, I didn't think it was. I thought it was. It's like here, the change in weather it's obvious. It's obvious. And it's nice. I love the sunshine, but with a breeze.
Yeah.
Give me a breeze any day.
Oh, yeah, look, over here, it's best when it's only about 25 to 30, because then you can cope with it. And especially when you have 4 or 5 days with 36 during the day, the house just heats up and it doesn't cool down.
Yeah. That is one good thing about the houses I live in like a Victorian terrace. So it's thick walls. So inside it's cool. So that is a good thing. So
I've always imagined you on like a big farm estate. Like
I'd love to be on a big farm.
Do you remember that show To the Manor Born?
Yeah.
I imagine you like that, coming out with your whippets in the morning.
Oh, do you know, it's my dream. My dream, I'm really lucky. I've got great neighbours and it's that has really helped as well with recovery, just having really good people around you. But put me in a forest, in a little cottage with my dogs and I'm all right.
Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, look, you've still got plenty of time. As you said, you're still young. Got plenty of time to do that. So what are some of your tips for recovery, other than walking in the forest?
Allow yourself the time and space. So, you know, I was there where I went to the therapist or I went to see someone and I knew what to do, but I didn't do it. And I think a lot of us fall down that hole where we know what to do, but we don't do it. And I don't know whether that's the inner chatter saying, oh, it's pointless you doing this. What are you doing this for? No one else has to do this, which is actually nonsense. I think a lot of, there's more people who suffer than not because we are not built for the speed for which we live, I don't think.
No.
And people are very good at masking it, self-medicating, you know, all that. It's put yourself first. And I know if you've got kids and I know if you've got other priorities, but wouldn't you rather for a moment put yourself first? My dog's having an inward sneeze. Sorry. You know, give yourself that time so that then you can be firing on all cylinders and feeling really good about yourself, and your mind and body will appreciate you for it, because I think it takes a battering. So I would make sure you got time make sure you give yourself the time and space to do that. Try and lose the expectations, you know, because they're just opinions of what other people want. They're not true, you know. And where I used to, I basically live my life to, and I, you know, I love my dad. He passed away 2 years ago, but to please my dad, to please my friends, you know. And if you stop and look at your life, you think, God, you could think, God, I do that. Everything is about pleasing everyone else. And what about you? Include yourself in your life. Ask yourself, is this supporting me emotionally and mentally, or is this absolutely draining me? And being honest with myself helped and was a bit shocking. But I was tired of trying to outrun anxiety, and you just can't. It catches up. So do that and see your recovery as an improvement to your life. It's something that's going to make you, or take you to a place where you actually enjoy life. You're not battling around this loop where you're having short periods of wellness and then you fall straight back into feeling awful again. So it's developing and cultivating a life that makes you feel really good, you know. And
I like what you said before, because you said, you know, allow yourself the time to recover. Because if we start from where we feel like we're really anxious, we have to remember that it's actually taken quite a while to get to where we are there.
Yeah, that's what I said at the beginning.
Yeah, so to expect to just get over it in 5 minutes is just not going to happen, is it? Because we need to then have that amount of time to recover, to learn what got us into that way.
Unlearn it, unlearn the behaviours. And also, a tip I think is stop labelling yourself if you do, because I used to label myself as I'm just anxious. I'm anxious Lisa. I'm an anxious person. And that's kind of like affirmations to yourself that you're not normal or you're damaged, and you're not. Basically, I don't see anxiety as an illness, although the symptoms can really impact your life and make you feel ill. I see it as mental exhaustion and emotional exhaustion, fatigue, and you just in this loop of behaviours that keep you in it.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, if you're labeling yourself, that's not helping. So I turn that round to I'm healing, I'm recovering from all the shit I've been through. I'm just at a stage where I need some space. You know, it's really different than you are ill, because I don't believe we're ill. I believe we become so mentally fatigued with everything, and we don't know how to cope with it because we've never been taught the importance, you know, of processing emotions. We've been taught you can't show your emotions, it's a sign of weakness. Everyone else can deal with it, why can't you? So that makes you feel like there's something wrong with you. Oh, it's just office banter. Well, so that's saying I'm being oversensitive, and when every feeling you have is valid, and if you're told it isn't because you're made to feel like you're too sensitive or you're this and you're that, again, it weighs down on you.
Well, look, I know when I grew up at school, my teacher, and I've said this before, she had a problem with all the boys and told us we'd never be anything. But as you're talking, I'm remembering her saying things like that. If she could see we were getting a bit upset, oh, what's wrong with you? You know, harden up, and, you know, what are you crying for? Or what are you upset for? And that just makes you feel even worse, because then you know the whole classroom's watching you and you're going, oh my God, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? And then your anxiety builds. I mean, I didn't have a great school in the UK, probably from about 8 till 11 when we moved to Australia. I had teachers who were pretty harsh, but also those sort of comments all the time, not just to me, to other people in the room. And when you hear that all the time, calling people stupid, you think, oh my God, what have we all done wrong? Why are we like this? Obviously, she's some amazing person, but she was actually a horrible bitch. You know, scared the shit out of all of us. But we thought that she must be amazing because we're so stupid. And the girls would be like, oh, I don't know what you're upset about because it doesn't say it to us. Well, no.
And it can go through adulthood as well. So say, for example, you're in a work environment. And where I used to work, okay, it's classed as a job for life, being in the UK civil service, but it is full of, it's a toxic culture for a start. There's hierarchy abuse, you know, people abusing their power, unrealistic expectations, a sense that you're basically disposable, you know, all things that don't actually build you up, and you're there every day, and that is like rubbing off on you, you know. So it kind of, and so if you've got a toxic or a not happy home life, then you're just surrounded by it. So of course the nervous system's going to get shot, and you're going to start getting symptoms like anxiety, depression, and whatever. But we've been taught that shut up and shut up and put up, and that's what I was. And it just, we don't have to. I wish that employers and teachers were a bit more, I'm not saying all teachers because some are amazing, but just more accountable and had a duty, you know, and respected their duty of care and actually implemented it correctly.
And look, I do think we have changed. I mean, when I came here to Australia, I had some really great teachers, and it was a lot more laid back here than it was in the UK. But I was talking to a friend of mine in the UK who I hadn't actually spoken to since I was 16. He tracked me down on Facebook, and we were talking about this teacher, and he said he had anxiety up until his 40s. And another guy in our class actually got bulimia because she kept telling him, you're a stocky chap, you're a bit podgy. And he went into her classroom. Yeah, he went into her classroom and told her what she had made him do, having bulimia, and he'd had it for like 15 years, and she couldn't believe it. But that's what happens when you keep being told the same thing.
Yeah, and people don't realise the impact. And I just know that, you know, when I see people being angry or horrible to other people, I don't think you're a bitch. I actually think, wow, you're in pain, because they're coming from a place of fear. And because if you think about it, if they were happy inside themselves, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't need to do that. But you know, I grew up, my brothers, well, especially my eldest one, was like, you're ugly, you've got sticking out teeth, and they used to go like this, knobbly knees, and it's horrible. And then when, like, I was in a relationship, and it was like, I'd be scared to be myself and talk, because I'd get, oh, I don't think that's appropriate. My friends' girlfriends don't speak like that. You know, so I found myself trying to be, well,
like their friend's girlfriend.
I can see it now.
Yeah.
But nothing would please that individual, because they were coming from their own crap.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, I'm healing now properly, so that I don't have to fall, you know, I don't fall down any of these traps that I get.
We've got a couple of comments. We've got Jen's VW Adventure says, I'm just remembering my school. I was told I wasn't clever, and I still believe it today, and I'm 50. Well, we have to have a chat then, because we need to change it, because I had the same thing until I was 40-something when I started studying, and I didn't believe I could study. And then I had a really good mentor who taught me my way out of that thinking.
Yeah.
There was someone else here, and I can't find. Be your own kind of beautiful, handsome was from Jennifer. Aww. That was a little while ago, because I'm 48 now, Clarence says, still nervous. It's okay to be nervous.
Yeah. And that one as well from Clarence, I went to an unbelievably strict school and it made me fearful of authority, fear of repercussions and punishment, and for anything I do that might, and do you know what, Clarence, I can absolutely, I resonate with that, because for me, my dad was like, when I was growing up, he was really strict and he was in a authoritative job, you know, he was like, and then my brothers were really opinionated, and so I grew up feeling like women should be seen and not heard, and that men make the best decisions. Now I know that now is utter nonsense, but not for a long time, and no wonder the relationships I went into were me struggling to be submissive, because they wanted, the men like that. And I don't mean that on a sexual thing, I mean that as a person. And me feeling so, basically living a lie because I'm not submissive. And I do have something to say, and when I see it now, I just think, oh God, why didn't I realise that? But you know, you can't look back at things and think.
What Clarence is saying there, I mean, it just triggered some thoughts in my head. I remember school in England and doing maths, and you were too scared to make a mistake. So sometimes you would sit there with one question for probably the whole hour, because you were pretty much taught if you made a mistake, you're a stupid idiot. Why don't you know what you're doing? And you're too scared to put your hand up, because then they'd say, well, why don't you understand it? Everybody else understands it. Why don't you? So you just sit there just worrying, anxious about, why can't I do this question? Too scared to ask because you look stupid.
And then you become sensitized, and like I did, and defensive, because you're so scared you're going to get judged or you're going to get rejected. And so then, hello, I'm Lisa, the people pleaser. And even though I'm pleasing others, I'm doing nothing for my own self-esteem, and I'm starting to crumble inside. And so when that gets knocked, the splinter, I crumble. And so it really doesn't matter. And I used to think it was important that people like me, but in reality, not everyone will like you, and that's okay. And don't waste any energy on that, because it's just not worth it. But I bet I'm not the only one who's done that.
No. Look, we're all worried, aren't we? I mean, I changed my mindset once I did my studies in counselling. And then I started to realise that people will like me if they like me, and if they don't, that's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I don't have a problem with that. Not everybody I meet is my cup of tea. You know, I might go to a party and 5 people there, I think, oh my God, I don't want to speak to you. Well, that's my opinion. But they might look at me and go, I don't want to speak to you either, Dan. Okay? That's okay. We don't have to please everybody.
And growing up like that, and doing it in my adulthood, Clarence just put something there, and it was like me. I was heading towards my 50s, and I can honestly tell you, I felt like a child. I still felt like a child.
And that's what Clarence is saying. I find myself at work behaving like I'm at school. I agree, Clarence, 100%. And nutritional counsellor has just said, hi, Dan.
It is,
Jennifer has said, wisdom is great, isn't it? It's so much better when you get to our age. Look,
but it's never too late to change.
No,
so that's what I'm saying.
I do understand. I understand life now. You know, all these young people.
I'm actually quite, it's not selfish. I'm so protective of my mental health now, because I'm in a really good place. And so I always ask myself, even now, will this nourish me, or will it damage well, not damage, but chip away at my, and if it chips away, I just don't do it.
Bring back your
just don't do it.
Yeah.
Because I've worked hard, and, you know, recovery as well is not hard recovered. It's and it's not even hard because you've made a decision. And once you make a decision, that fires you up. So it's a gradual, you know, and you see really things, life just expanding and feelings. You think, ooh, what's that? Oh my God, it's happiness. And, you know, happiness isn't over there. It's here now. It's just underneath the chaos. Start getting rid of that chaos, because the chaos is man-made. It's either inflicted by somebody else. It's you believing thoughts that aren't true about yourself, or beliefs about yourself. And it's the, you know, every time you look at the telly, they're telling you your skin's dried up and you need a facelift, and it's so, when you wake up to this, I mean, when I hit 50, not that I get a lot of mail, but even the mail that came through the door plus the emails was all about, have you got a turkey neck? Have you thought about your funeral? And I'm thinking, flipping heck, this is a conveyor belt, this life business, if we allow it to be. And they're already writing me off by sending me all these things about, and when you wake up to that, I just hit them away now. You know, I'm here, I'm alive, and I am going to make my life just mentally great as I can. And that's it.
Yeah. Oh, look, I love that. That was, and look, you're so right. I know when I get spam mail, or even if I look at stuff on Facebook for too long, I start getting things for the older generation, and I'm thinking,
I don't even have to look. They just arrive. I mean, have you got a turkey neck? Have you? Neck. And having a turkey neck is the least of my problems. Let me tell you, when that arrived, you know, I was absolutely riddled with anxiety, but it doesn't help. It doesn't help.
It's good that you're in a good place, isn't it? Because other people would probably get that and then start worrying about it, and then the anxiety increases. And you know, I mean, that's why the plastic surgery business is so booming all around the world, is because people feel that they're not adequate enough. And you don't have to be a model to be happy and have a great life. You know, I'm not skinny, but people who look at me know that I'm happy. And that's, you know, I could be really depressed and go, oh, look, I've got a bit of weight on me. Maybe I should think about going for surgery. I wouldn't do surgery because I'm happy how I am.
Unless it's causing damage to your health. Does it matter? No. And it only matters because we're worried about what other people think. I'm going through the menopause, and, you know, I've put weight on, and sometimes I have to sort things out, but I don't care. Do you know what? I really don't give a shit anymore, because my story is going to end on a positive and not on me being worried about what other people think and full of anxiety. And I owe that to myself, because before, it's all I cared about, worrying about what other people think, trying to please everyone, and putting my needs and my recovery to the back of the queue. And I think it was when I was hitting 50, I could quite see how I'd just been white knuckling my way through 20 years of life from anxiety. That 20 years could easily turn into another 20 years. And I thought, no, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing it. So I've got, you know, with therapy as well, if you can find a great therapist, brilliant. I know it's really hard, and it's so hard to access sort of free therapy. But there's a really good book that's just come out, actually, by Owen McKenna, I think his name is. Let me just go and get it.
I thought you were going to say your book.
No, my book.
Yep, so she's going to get us a book that we can look at that's really good for anxiety. Who?
My book's got a new cover.
Oh, wow. So I've got the limited edition first run.
You have, yeah. And this book, It's by Owen O'Kane. I don't know if you follow him, but he's brilliant. He's
How
a
to be
psychotherapist
your
that I
own
follow.
happy. No.
How to be your own therapist. And it's so, don't wait for your session to start doing things.
Yeah.
Start becoming your own therapist and doing the things that you know will help you. And it's like, it'll happen. But you can't think your way to recovery. You can't wish your way to recovery. You got to take the steps. Yeah, and you can, you know, if you knew any of the people who knew me, who know me personally, this is COVID, the throat. They, you know, I was known as being anxious and not being able to do things, not socializing, nothing. And now I'm like a totally different person. I'm actually my true self now.
Yeah. And look, when you're your true self as well, you don't have to worry.
Turkey neck and all.
You don't have to worry about putting on a mask, do you? You're just you, and people see you as you. And I really liked earlier when you said about not labeling yourself, because I think when we label ourselves with different disorders and stuff, then we do believe it, because we're constantly telling our brain, oh, I've got anxiety, I've got anxiety, I've got anxiety. And in the end, your head goes, okay, we've got anxiety. And then it's really hard to try and unwrap that. And
you say it enough to yourself, you believe it. And I'm not a fan. I know that, you know, there's reasons. A diagnosis is a diagnosis. And I think the diagnosis is worded to help like the medical world, if you like, or therapist world. But I don't like labels. So I don't like anxiety, health anxiety, and that kind of anxiety, and this anxiety and that. I just think it's all anxiety, but a different topic, a different theme. So mine was, I still had the same symptoms and the same, you know, avoidance behaviors and stuff like that. But my anxiety, I was worried that I was going to lose my mind and that I thought I was broken and blah, blah, blah. Where health anxiety is people are worried that they're going to die or get some illness. But if you pull all that wording away, you feel unsafe.
Yeah.
So all of it is because we don't feel safe.
Yeah.
And we're sensitized. And so when I got my diagnosis, it was like, I'm an anxiety disorder sufferer. And so I lived it.
Yeah.
I lived as if I was that person, as if I was that label, where really I was experiencing, I was going through, yeah.
And look, I think one thing everybody can do if they want to decrease their anxiety from today, is stop watching the news all the time. Stop watching them repeat the same stories over and over again. Because yes, we need to know what's going on in the community, but you will find out from other people what's going on. You don't need to sit and watch an hour bulletin of people being blown up, killed, molested, all that sort of stuff. People will tell you if there's something important. You don't need to sit there and be fed all that anxiety.
Stop.
We're going to lose. We're going to lose the satellite, Lisa. It's 8:43 here. It's 11:43 in the UK. We have to wrap up.
Thank you, everyone. I hope this was helpful. And, you know, anyone wants to have a chat, just give me a DM.
DM Lisa at
Thank you, Dan, so much.
DM me at Life _Changes You _podcast. Listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple, everywhere. Really great people coming up on the podcast. Go back and listen to Lisa's one, which was quite a while ago, but still very important. I think that was last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. But just everyone know that you can recover. I'm nothing special. It's just maybe we just believe that we can't too much, when actually we can turn that around, because we can. It might be a bit scary at first, but that is the road that'll get you to freedom. Go through that fear because it'll go. So,
and also, if you are seeing a therapist and they're giving you some homework to do, and your partner or someone in your family is going, oh, what are you doing that for? That sounds ridiculous. Don't listen to them. Do it because it will help you. And it might be that they're not liking it, that you're going to change yourself for the better and change yourself and feel good about yourself. You know, sometimes family members, partners don't want you to change because they want you the way they are so that they can, so that they can have you the way they want you. Yeah. Not everybody, but someone like that.
Be you.
Yeah,
be you.
All right. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for coming on
Bye,
with
everyone.
COVID.
See you
Love
soon,
speaking to you. It's always
Thank
good.
you.
You take care, my love.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.